Okay guys, this is Tubadylan. I know I don't do a whole lot of videos anymore. The content is pretty poor on this page, but guess what? I've got a life and I do other things. How can you store your instruments so that your valves don't freeze up? And I have a very simple solution to that that may surprise some of you, and some of you may actually do that with your own horns already. Anyway, there is a simple solution. I'm going to pull it out right here. Marvel Mystery Oil. Many of you have seen this. Let me turn it here at your local auto parts store or whatever, but Marvel Mystery Oil. You can get it in any section of an auto parts store. Walmart sells it, any of those type of stores, probably even hardware stores. I'm not sure, but it's an oil made for cars, and it has a big red rooster on it. Actually, it does not. This is Sriracha rooster sauce, not Marvel Mystery Oil. Okay, so this, there you go. This is Marvel Mystery Oil. Anyone who likes spicy foods, and as you get older, you should all like spicy foods, has seen this. Many of you have tried it. It is the best sauce on the planet, and you can put it on absolutely everything to make it taste better. If anyone ever makes you something that tastes crummy, take this stuff and put it on. The rooster sauce, not this. This will kill you if you put it on your food. This Sriracha hot sauce, and try it on anything that sucks or anything that you want to make taste better. What I'm here to really talk about is this Marvel Mystery Oil, and in a way it's a mystery to me, but I've been using it since the late 80s when Alan Baer, who plays tuba in the New York Philharmonic, who at the time lived in Long Beach and worked on my instruments, actually told me about this. So what is it? Well, I don't really know. It's made to add to fuel and oil in your car. What Alan Baer told me was that it's the best detergent you can possibly use on brass instruments to keep them clean and keep them lubricated. And I've found, he didn't tell me this, but I found that it's probably the best thing to keep them lubricated over a long amount of time. Well, I know for sure it is, because I have horns that have been stored. You can look behind me. I've got all kinds of instruments. I don't play them all a whole lot. So I have a lot of experience with storing instruments for a long amount of time. And this is the stuff, and I'll show you what I do. Another warning, please, don't put this, I told you don't put this in your mouth with your food, okay? Don't put Sriracha hot sauce on your valves or in any of your musical instruments. Okay, I'm instructed to say that by the Tubadylan legal department. Just want to let you know that. Okay, and this especially. Now, one thing I will tell you, all kidding aside, this probably is terribly bad for you. So be very careful, be in a well-ventilated area. Try not to get it on your hands, try not to breathe it in. Use a very little amount, and you might very well die even from using a small amount of it. I've been using it my whole adult life since I was about 15 years old. I'm still alive. I'm not in the best of health, but I don't think it's the oil's fault. It's more genetics and eating too much cake and stuff like that. But just want you to know, this could be very bad for your health. Maybe look it up on the internet. Don't trust me to tell you that it's not going to kill you if you use it on your instrument. That being set aside, if you want your instrument to last a long time, and also if you're having issues with your valves, let me show you what you do with it, okay? Here's your Marvel Mystery Oil. You take this stuff and you pour it into a bottle of something you already have. So this is Alcas Fast Valve Oil. And I literally ripped off the little nipple thing, for lack of a better word, with my mouth, which probably puts chemicals in my body. Don't do that, but I do it because it takes a lot less time than doing it some other way. And poured Marvel Mystery Oil in this once all the oil was gone. Okay, simple enough. And then you have an applicator tip or a nipple or whatever you want to call it to apply the Marvel Mystery Oil to any of your instruments. Okay, this is pretty simple stuff. Are you with me? Don't drink it. Although, you know what? If you're hungry, eat this. It's pretty awesome. And there's a pretty good documentary about Sriracha hot sauce. I think it might be on Netflix. For sure it's on Amazon, that you should check out. So just search Sriracha movie. You'll find it. So here we go. Let me show you how to do this. This is one of my trumpets. It's a lot easier to hold than a tuba, and it does essentially the same thing. So you do want to oil all of your slides. So, you know, try not to bang your slide on your bell when you pull it out. But just take any kind of grease. Vaseline's not my favorite. A lot of people use that. But lanolin that you get at you can get it at any kind of drugstore or any grocery store, which is really, this is ultra pure regular. That all does the same thing. But lanolin you can get at almost any store in your neighborhood because it's for women whose breasts are getting irritated from their baby sucking milk. If you need something cheap that will last probably even better than something you buy that's expensive from some brass company, go there, buy that. Apply it a little bit to all your slides. Don't neglect your slides. Those will freeze too. Your pistons will freeze first, but your slides will freeze too if you leave it in long storage without really greasing it down before you do it. So really grease it down. And then other than the second valve, which seems to be okay to leave all the way in all the time, anyway on most trumpets for example, but even on my tuba, I will grease it up. I'm not doing that for sake of time. I'll grease up each one, and then I'll leave a certain amount of space because it's well greased, and then you can bring it both ways. If you grease it and you push it all the way in, then you only have the outside to push. But if you leave it a little bit, you can jiggle it and wiggle it if it does get stiff. But you know what? If you grease it right, it'll be okay when you pull it out in 2 years. It really will. The key though is for the valves, and it's this stuff. And I wouldn't just use it in the valves. You can pour it through your whole horn to kind of clean the inside and kill any kind of bacteria or weird stuff growing in it. But just take a couple of drops of this stuff, this red Marvel Mystery Oil, and just put a couple of drops on each valve. Just dip, 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 dip. And it's a thick oil. And it takes a little while for it to work in. So you're gonna put it on, and you may be able to tell from the outside that it's a little bit thicker than whatever you had on there. But once you play with it and you put your valves down a number of times, it will work in this oil and thicken up actually. And it has some sort of detergent in it. It's made, made to clean the pistons in your car, made to clean the fuel injectors in your car. So there's something in it, some sort of chemical that's probably carcinogenic and terrible to put anywhere near your body, that does clean the pistons on your instrument very well. So as long as you're willing to take that risk of terrible poison, which seems to be okay for me. Like I said, check with your doctor before you do any of this. It's going to help you with your valves. So there we go. I put a couple drops on all three of these valves. And what I normally do is play this instrument for 10 or 12 minutes and get some warm air going through it and work the valves, play an etude or something, and just work the valves. These are really fast valves anyway, but just work them out a little bit so that they kind of get that oil all around in it. It's almost like scrubbing a pot, The more you scrub, the more soap gets sort of soapy and bubbly and lathers up. So just work them in a little bit. And make sure that all the water's out of your horn. I mean, anyone who's not a musician or a brass instrumentalist will say, oh, it's spit, but a large amount of it is condensation, and it's really mostly water, and it's not going to hurt anybody, Yeah, so right now even these slides are they're loose enough, but they probably need another application of slide grease. You know, they probably need another application of slide grease. But once you get your horn all lubed up with Marvel Mystery Oil, I've got Marvel Mystery Oil somewhere here again. Yeah, so once you get your horn like totally lubed up with Marvel Mystery Oil on all 3 valves, and you lube up all the slides for long term, you can put it away for a long time. And guess what? I mean, I don't know what the longest I've had one in, but I've had horns in storage for maybe 4 or 5 years and pulled them out, and I had put a bunch of Marvel Mystery Oil on them, and sure enough, they're kind of thick and sludgy and oily, just like they were when I put them away. So, I mean, most brass players who don't know what they're doing, if you have an instrument and you've stored it away for a while without prepping it, you will pull it out and have a very hard time pushing the valves down and pulling the slides out. And sometimes you have to take it to your instrument repair guy to actually do it. This will avoid it. So try it, put it on all your valves and slides, put sriracha hot sauce on your eggs, enjoy them tomorrow morning, and for now, friends, so long.